these are rectangular hyperbolas. Now you see that T3 greater than T2 greater than T1. That means if the temperature is increased, the constant part of the temperature, as we have taken it to be constant, if the temperature is increased, slowly the graph will also be displaced in the upward direction. Now these are known as the isothermal curves for an ideal gas. Now all things that I am discussing here are for ideal gases. Ideal gases, those gases are that are not real. Now the one very important derivation formula that we have to learn by heart is the work done by an ideal gas in an isothermal process. I write here work done in an isothermal process, work done in an isothermal process by an ideal gas. Now we had derived the formula W is equal to V1 to V2 P dV. This was the formula for the work done. That means for a change in volume, what is the change in volume here? dV. For a change in volume dV at constant temperature of a certain amount of gas, that means a fixed mass of a gas, work done dW is equal to dW, we had already done, equal to PdV. So you are going to integrate both the sides, so from V1 to V2 dV, as this is an integration with respect to V, so the upper limit lower limit consists of the volume, and this one becomes W is equal to the form V1 to V2 lower limit upper limit P dV. Now if we draw one a rectangular hyperbola as we have drawn earlier, name this as A and B. In this direction it was P, and on the x-axis it was V. So the work done will be the area under this curve, this area. Now what is the area, or how to calculate the area? We name this as C and D. Volume here is Vi and the volume here is Vf. Now for one, I can write for 1 mole of an ideal gas, what is the relation? PV is equal to RT. For n moles it was PV is equal to nRT. For 1 mole it is PV is equal to RT. From here we get P is equal to RT by V. P is equal to RT by V. Now why did we do this? Because in the relation we have to replace P with this RT by V. We have to bring in V, because you know R is a constant, T is a constant for isothermal cases, and we have to we need this volume because we are integrating with respect to volume. So we have to change the form of P. It was W is equal to, now instead of P we are going to write RT by V dV from Vi to Vf, or from V1 to V2 you can write V1 to V2, that means V1 initial was V1 and final was V2. Now RT as common we take it out, dV by V, Vi to Vf, again RT ln of V, Vi to Vf, that means RT ln of Vf by Vi. I have jumped one step, it is ln of Vf minus ln of Vi, that means negative means log of Vf by Vi. Now from Boyle's law, for an isothermal process we can write Pi Vi is equal to Pf Vf. So from here we have got here Vf by Vi, so Vf by Vi means Pi by Pf. So we can replace this formula, W is equal to RT ln of Pi by Pf. We can also write Pi by Pf. So we have got two forms. One form is Vf by Vi, another form is Pi by Pf. Now from an ideal gas, for an ideal gas, U is constant. For an ideal gas, U is equal to a constant. Also T, we have written here U constant because we know for an isothermal case T is constant. So from the first law of thermodynamics, what we can tell, Q is equal to UF minus UI plus W. That means it implies Q is equal to W. I have already discussed this in the previous page. So you have got two formulas. One is W is equal to RT ln of VF by VI and RT ln of PF by PI. That is for 1 mole. These formulas are for 1 mole of the gas. If in the question it comes n moles, that means 2 moles, 3 moles, 4 moles, it will be for 2 moles it will be 2 RT here, 3 moles 3 RT. That means for general case we can write W is equal to nRT ln of VF by VI or nRT ln of PI by PF. Now adiabatic process. Now what is an adiabatic process? A process in which no heat is exchanged between a system and its surroundings. The term adiabatic means no heat is exchanged between a system and the surroundings. If this is the system, no heat will be transferred. That means no heat can come inside the system, no heat will be released from the system. This is called an adiabatic process. Now the change in volume, pressure and temperature in an adiabatic process are called adiabatic changes. Here 3 parameters were going to change. In the previous case, in the isothermal case, there were 2 parameters, pressure and volume. But here all 3, volume, pressure and temperature in an adiabatic process are called adiabatic changes. So an adiabatic process is one in which no heat is transferred or exchanged between system and surroundings. The changes in volume, pressure and temperature in an adiabatic process are called adiabatic changes. Now for adiabatic expansion and adiabatic cooling, we take a similar case of a cylinder piston arrangement. Now cylinder piston arrangement means like this, gas inside. Now what happens, the cylinder and the piston are made up of non-conducting material. In the previous case it was conducting material. Now we are going to take non-conducting material. The piston can move without friction along the inner walls of the cylinder, as in the previous case also. When the gas expands rapidly, work is done by the gas. Gas expands. What happens when the gas expands? When the gas expands, I can say rapidly. When the gas expands rapidly, work is done by the gas. Work is done by the gas. Now when work is done by the gas, in the previous case also we had seen there will be a fall in temperature because internal energy level decreases, because the gas does work by expending its own energy. Gas is doing work by expending its own energy. So the internal energy of the gas depends on temperature. Temperature of the gas will also decrease. This is clear. Now as the walls of the cylinder here are taken as non-conducting, so heat cannot move into the system or heat cannot enter from the surroundings to stop this fall in temperature. We are not allowing heat to move from surrounding to system because we have used a non-conducting material here. So there will be no heat exchange during expansion. This is called adiabatic expansion, and the corresponding fall in temperature is known as adiabatic cooling. Now adiabatic expansion is related to adiabatic cooling. So a question can come, what happens during adiabatic expansion? So adiabatic expansion, also known as adiabatic cooling, because ultimately we see that the temperature of the gas has decreased or fallen. So the reverse case is going to happen when the gas is contracting rapidly. Work is done on the gas. Second case is work is done on the gas. again non-conducting material. Here work is done on, this was by, this is on the gas. So here the gas contracts, gas contracts. Now as the gas is compressed very fast, the heat evolved will not be transmitted to the surroundings through the non-conducting cylinder, and the gas will remain hot. I repeat the sentence, I repeat the line. What happens here? Heat is generated because there will be a decrease in volume. So heat is going to be generated and the temperature of the gas will increase. Because if I am exerting an external energy into the system, that energy is going to be stored as internal energy of the gas. In turn, a rise of temperature will occur because heat is stored there. Such types of compression of the gas are called adiabatic compression, and the corresponding temperature is called adiabatic heating. Corresponding rise in temperature is known as adiabatic heating. So adiabatic expansion is now adiabatic compression is known as adiabatic. I can say, you are right. Adiabatic heating. Now, for adiabatic case, as there is no heat exchange, so you can take Q to be equal to 0. Now we know Q is equal to UF minus UI plus W. So if this is 0, so UF minus UI plus W, or you can write W is equal to minus of UF minus UI. In turn, you can write UI minus UF. So in turn, we have written UF minus UI. So minus of UF minus UI, UI minus UF. So this is external work done. So external work is equal to decrease in internal energy. Decrease in internal energy. For an adiabatic compression, W is negative. For an adiabatic compression, W is negative. This means that work is done on the system by its surroundings. As a result, the internal energy increases. For an adiabatic compression, we can say the W is negative. This means that work is done on the system by its surroundings. So the basic concept of adiabatic process is that we will not allow heat to move into the system or out of the system. Now for these cases, we have to take two things into account, or we have to do two things. One is non-conducting walls, as I have already discussed, non-conducting walls of system, because we are not going to allow heat to pass. Second one is, even if we put a non-conducting wall and give time, heat will be transferred, as in the case of a flask. We keep hot water into the flask, that is a non-conducting, the flask has got non-conducting walls, but if after 8 to 9 hours you find water in the flask has gone, the temperature has gone down. So here the process should be very fast. Very fast process. Because if we do not give time, then also we are not allowing heat to move. relation between volume, pressure, temperature of an ideal gas in an adiabatic process. In an adiabatic process of an ideal gas, the relation PV is equal to constant, that is the Boyle's law equation, is not obeyed. It does not follow the Boyle's law equation because here the temperature is no longer a constant. Instead, we get the relation PV to the power gamma is equal to constant. You all know what is P, pressure, V, volume, and gamma was the ratio of the two specific heats, Cp by Cv. Gamma was Cp by Cv. Now, again we take for 1 mole of a gas, 1 mole of a gas, PV is equal to RT. Here P is equal to again RT by V, similar derivation, and V is equal to RT by P. So we get two things here. P V to the power gamma is equal to constant. And instead of P, we can write RT by V. RT by V, V to the power gamma is equal to constant. Replace the value of P here. So RT V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. From this we can write T V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant by R is going to be another constant because R is also constant. These two are constant terms. So the final thing we can write here is T V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. Now secondly, we can replace the value of P in the original equation. PV to the power gamma is equal to constant. So P into what is V? V was RT by P. RT by P to the power gamma is equal to constant. So P here is 1 minus gamma. 1 here and P to the power gamma here. T to the power gamma is equal to constant by R to the power gamma. That means 1 constant again. Constant by R to the power gamma. That means you can write this relation also. Curves. We have already drawn the isothermal curves. I had already said this to be rectangular hyperbolas like this. But the adiabatic curves are also hyperbolas, but they are a steeper lot like this. That means the steepness is more. This is S1, this is S2, this is S3, where S3 greater than S2 greater than S1. Now what are these S? They are entropies. Now I am going to discuss entropy at the end of this chapter. So we have seen that the steepness of the adiabatic curves, these curves are the adiabatic curves, and these curves are known as the isothermal curves. So why the slope is more? We can do a simple proof. That is, for isothermal change, for an isothermal case, we have got PV is equal to constant. So taking derivative of the form PdV plus VdP, derivative constant is 0. From this we can get dP by dV is equal to minus P by V. Now what is dP by dV? It is the slope, because you all know dy by dx is the slope. So this is the slope of an isothermal curve. Similarly, you can derive the slope of adiabatic curve also, but the relation here will be PV to the power gamma is equal to constant. So you can write derivative of P is dP V to the power gamma plus derivative of V to the power gamma is gamma V to the power gamma minus 1 dV is equal to 0. From this we can say that dP by dV is equal to minus of gamma P by V. You can solve this and find that dP by dV is equal to minus gamma P by V. Now here minus term indicates that the slope is downwards. Minus term indicates that the slope will be, or the graph will be sloping downwards as we move away from the x-axis. But the term P by V is common to both. So minus and P by V are common to both, but here there is a multiplier gamma. We all know that gamma is more than 1. So dp by dv for an adiabatic curve must be greater than that of the isozymal curve. So the slope of the adiabatic curve is going to fall quickly. Slope is going to fall quickly. Hence, the shape of this adiabatic curves, they are falling quickly, or the steepness is very high. Work done by an ideal gas in an adiabatic process. We write here the first law of thermodynamics, dq is equal to du plus dw. For an adiabatic process, what happens? dqv at constant process, there is no dw. Already we have learned that is du. So du is equal to cv dt. So the first law can be written like this also, dq is equal to, instead of du we are going to write cv dt. So dq is equal to cv dt plus dw. Now for an adiabatic process, dq is equal to 0, no heat is allowed to enter or leave the system. So here we can write w is equal to integration of dw. We can write here dq is equal to 0. So if dq is equal to 0, so dw becomes minus cv dt, ti to tf, integration ti to tf. So minus cv, you can take it out, dt ti to tf. So minus cv into tf minus ti. So the work is the formula for work is minus cv tf by ti. Also you can write, taking the minus inside, we can write ti minus tf. Now for an adiabatic work of an ideal gas, cv into fall in temperature, we can write various forms of this equation. This is the main equation. We can write various forms of this equation, because the general formula or general equation that we are going to keep in mind is w is equal to r by gamma minus 1 into ti minus tf. So instead of cv, we are going to replace r by gamma minus 1. Now from where does this relation arise from? We all know Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So Cp minus R is equal to Cv. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So we divide this equation by Cv. So Cp by Cv minus R by Cv is equal to 1. So Cp by Cv is gamma minus R by Cv is